Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, issue 4. I just love this series. And every time I can get a chance to come back to it, I've said it before, it's an excellent read. And just a great way to show character development. Because if we remember from issue 1, we see how Kitty, even though she wanted to save her dad, she did it in a bratty way. She fled from her problems with Colossus at Xavier's school, went back home. Her parents are getting a divorce, and she just kind of is ignoring it, trying to live her own life. Goes to Japan to try to save her dad. No plan. Doesn't try to discuss anything with the X-Men, and it costs her. So I just like how it starts out with that idea of adolescence and what happens with the different types of choices that we make in life. Just a really great analogy across the board. So this one's called Rebirth. Stan Lee presents it. Chris Claremont writing. Al Milgram doing the art. Joe Rosen doing the lettering. Glynis Wine colors. And Ann Nasanti editor. Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. Print date February 1985. All-star cast on this book. So spoiler alerts if you weren't with us for the last couple of issues. Last issue we find out that Kitty is the assassin that is attacking Wolverine and just rams a katana right through his freaking heart. So now rain's coming, tension's happening, and they were able to subdue Kitty with a sleep dart, and now they're trying to get to a safe place because Logan is deathly hurt. It's going to take time for his healing factor to repair his heart, so he's out. Kitty's tied up, and all her father can do is bitch. Your friend Wolverine is in pretty bad shape. He's too pale. He's lost a lot of blood. I don't think the bandages we're improvising are doing any good. Yukio, he needs a doctor. Better yet, a hospital. That's where we should be, back in Tokyo, not barreling around these godforsaken mountains without proper care. You won't last the night. He dies, chum, then it's on you. Forget it, lady. I'm through being scared. I want some answers. What have you done? What did you people do with my daughter? Why is she tied up? And I love Yukio because she doesn't take shit. He just pulls over, throws him out of the car. I've had enough of you, Pryde. Your arrogance, your stupidity, and your fear, and mostly your mouth. I will endure no more. More than once you've made me regret saving your miserable carcass. If I didn't need an extra pair of hands, I'd have dumped you long ago, and I may do so yet. You're pushing me to my limit, Gaijin. So do as you're told, without question or complaint. And because of her dad's mouth, Kitty escapes, and they have to tackle her all over again. And her father doesn't understand what's going on. He goes, good Lord, Kitty, child, what have they done? Oof. Nonetheless, they finally get her to sort of like this Yakuza stronghold in the mountains. I'm going to butcher the shit out of these names, so forgive me. Osin-yaku, the mountain spine of northern Honshu, itself the main island of Japan. Since time immemorial, the stronghold of Clan Yashida. So Wolverine's beginning to heal. And what I like here is, and I've said it before in other reviews, is your first comic should always be your first. Like, you should never dive into a book and feel lost. It's the art team and the writer's team and the editor's job to at least kind of recap you so you can at least say, okay, I understand what's going on, but I want to go back and read it, and I want to read the next issue. So that's what happens here is Kitty's having a fever dream, and it breaks down why she came to Tokyo, what Ogun did to her, and then she remembers what she did to Wolverine. She's been both mutant and X-Men. Like me now, she is Ninja, the deadliest of killers. And she wakes up screaming. She goes, Wolverine, oh, you got to know the nightmare that I was having. She goes, it was so real. He goes, it was, kiddo. Ease off a little. I'm feeling a bit tender. We fought. I remember. I was me, and yet I wasn't. I had a blade, and then I thrust it home into your heart. And he goes, nothing to forgive, kiddo. I understand, and I figure the least you're entitled to is a good cry. Now, how about some breakfast? And Kitty, of course, I'm not hungry, thank you. So Wolverine says, suit yourself. And so he's kind of trying to see where she's at mentally, and she goes, man, that food looks good. Yup. And so he asks, what does Ogun have to do with you? And so she brings up Shigematsu and whatnot, so Wolverine can finally get the full story. And what I like here is how we come to see how Wolverine becomes the sensei instead of the Ronin, and Kitty becomes the pupil. because he's just like, yeah, this is real good food. And she finally dives in. And after that, he gives her a backstory on who Ogun is, how he's supposed to be like this immortal man. And he tells her a story of how people came to know him, saying that there was two wanderers on a bridge. They say the way, honored sir, is wide enough only for one. It is only fitting that the lesser man step aside to let the better one pass. Agreed, my friend. If you'd be so kind as to do so, I shall be on my way. It appears we have a difference of opinion that only our blades can settle. Ogun threw down the gauntlet, and as one with blinding speed, two gleaming katanas leaped from the scabbard. And for 1 minute the men stood poised, their eyes locked, and then they sheathed their steel, bowed, and went their separate ways, never to cross paths again. I don't get it. The eye contact was the dual kitten. When each took the full measure of his foe and realized that the other was equal in every respect, and further that this was a battle neither could win, the conflict resolved. There was no need to actually cross swords. Wait, you're trying to tell me Ogun's the same guy that he's immortal? No one knows for sure. So he says, get dressed. And this is where she understands who her foe is, and Wolverine begins to train her, and he notices that things that she do is nothing that a normal kitty Pryde could do with like a Zen garden. He goes, the kind of garden a Zen master spends a lifetime crafting in mind as much as substance. But I'm not a teenager from Chicago. I shouldn't know where to begin. Wolverine, what did Ogun do to me? And so he starts to train her, tells her to lift the honor sword. He tells her it's the honor sword of Clan Yashida, forged 800 years ago by the supreme swordsmith Masamune. The sacred blade represents all that is best and most noble in the family. And the samurai, the Lord's champion who wields it, is me. I want you to hold it at arm's length for as long as you can. And so she tries, she fails. And Wolverine, as he trains her, does not go easy on her. He is very much a hard ass, and he has to. And each night, Kitty tries to lift the honor sword. And you can see it, she's trying, and Wolverine says, how long are you going to let her go on like this? As long as it needs to. She's earned that. Now, what I like is how Claremont subtly introduces what's going on in the main X-Men universe. So this takes place around the same time that Alpha Flight issue 12 happened, where, sadly, Guardian dies. And so he gets the call from Xavier saying how Storm has lost her powers because she was shot by a weapon that Forge had made, as well as the death of James Hudson. And so in true, awesome ways that, of course, always gets good stories with Logan in Japan, there were details. I hardly heard them. I was little more than an animal when Jamie found me. I owe him my life, my humanity. He was like my brother, but he's dead. I can't do anything for him or Storm, and if I leave, I'll lose Kitty too. I don't like it, but I got no choice. Doesn't make me hurt any less as I howl to my voice cracks and my eyes burn with hot tears. That's some damn good storytelling right there, my friends. Now again, Kitty is hard. She's hard on Kitty because she needs to be, and she finally starts to understand who she is. And Logan says, you can be the coward, go run back to Xavier's and let him protect you and try to heal you, or you can come here, man up, accept what you've done, and grow. So we see in ways that Kitty has grown, in ways that she's still a frightened kid. Hence why the next issue is called Courage. Because I won Wolverine, but I lost as well. Goodbye. Excellent storytelling, my friends. The artwork works great for this issue. I've heard other people say they hate Milgram's art. I'm happy with it. You don't get quality like this very much anymore, and I long for comic books like this. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is that get your action figures and comics and grab this series. And if you've enjoyed this review, I really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little adamantium bell next subscribe, that was when content content you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback. down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.